Hi everyone, Quiveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, we are going to be looking ahead into the month of July. Not too much will change over the month of July, or at least for the beginning of July. Things will still look quite similar to June. However, we are past the summer solstice, so the sky will start getting dark earlier. We still have Venus in the evening, but as we move later in the month, Venus will appear lower in the sky. We can see Venus and the moon there quite close together on the 17th. Jupiter is still above the horizon. If we come back towards the beginning of the month, well, just barely visible there. Jupiter is still technically above the horizon for the beginning of the month, but it is moving towards conjunction with the Sun, so Jupiter will end up behind the Sun quite soon. We're starting to get a reasonably dark sky by 11:30, of course, still quite close to the solstice. We're still going to have a little bit of sunlight all through the night for the first part of the month. Once the sky is reasonably dark, here on the 1st of July, the moon will be quite close to full. It's here at about 96% full, still quite full, because we did have a full moon at the end of June. We will have another full moon at the end of July, with the new moon being pretty close to the middle of the month. If we move forward, we'll get the moon out of the sky and we'll move back just a little bit, so we're still on the edge of darkness. We can still see Scorpius and Sagittarius. They're now both above the horizon by the time the sun is going down. We will move back just a little bit because I want to take a look at the planets in the morning for the morning of the 4th. So we are lined up to do that now. The summer triangle is still with us all night long. We are still in summer, even though we're past the solstice. We have Saturn coming up. As we come up to 2 o'clock, Saturn is going to be easier and easier to see in the morning as we get later in the month, because it will be further and further from the sunrise. So we're going to start seeing the square of Pegasus and Andromeda. Those constellations will start to be a little bit more prominent as well. Coming up here to morning time, we have Mars. Mars will also get easier to see as we get later in the month, but it won't be as drastic of a change as Saturn. Mars is still moving away from us around the sun, sort of in the easterly, northeasterly direction, but the Earth is orbiting the sun faster, so we are starting to catch up. But it will be another few months before Mars really becomes visible in the evening. We'll come back to the 4th and we'll see how low in the sky we can see Mars. There's quite a bit of sunlight glow here at just about 3:30 in the morning. There's the Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters, and there is Uranus. So of course this would be pretty tough to see. It would be easier to see from the equator, but here's Mars and Uranus having a fairly close conjunction. With the planets, particularly Mars here in the morning and Venus in the evening, because they are both so close to sunset and sunrise, the conjunctions that they're taking part in are going to be hard to see, just because from here in Ireland they're going to be occurring with so much of this sunlight twilight glow in the sky. We'll take a look over to the western horizon here and we will get rid of the trees and buildings. That should show Jupiter certainly in view and above the horizon, but barely, even here at the beginning of the month, and as we move later it drops out of view. We can see the moon and Venus coming fairly close together here as well, and Venus is going to be coming quite close to Regulus. There we go. It's already after coming quite close to Regulus. So here we are on the 8th. Venus and Regulus are very close together, but it is very tough to see with the glow of the sun. As Venus gets lower in the sky, it does get easier, and we can see the rest of Leo now, so we can tell that Venus is next to Regulus. However, from here in Ireland, that is still a lot of sunset glow, and if we bring back the more normal treed and buildinged horizon, that puts them out of view, so it is going to be a tricky one to catch. Thankfully, we do have something coming up towards the end of the month that may be a little bit easier. We're going to push through to the 29th, which does bring us back around to the full moon. Here we go, 99.8%. That's not ideal. We are going to look for the delta aquariid meteor shower, and of course having the full moon in the sky, well, that's not going to help. Let's bring up our meteor shower markers, and there's the southern delta aquariids. We've got the Antihelion, the Capricornids, the July gamma draconids. There are a few other meteor showers going on at this time. Let's move a little bit later and we'll get as many as we can into the sky. Unfortunately here with the full moon. So the July gamma draconids, they're peaking on the 28th, but their maximum is only going to be about 5. Quite high in the sky there, so being high in the sky means that they will be closer to the zenith, so they will get closer to the actual zenith hourly rate compared to meteor showers whose radiants are appearing lower in the sky. So we can see the Capricornids there peaking on the 30th of July, again very close to the full moon with another low zenith hourly maximum rate. The Eta Eradnids aren't peaking until August. The Perseids, of course, not peaking until August, one of the better meteor showers. Here we go. The Pisces Austranids, they're very low in the sky. Certainly a better meteor shower for southern skies. Again, peaking at the end of July, very low maximum rate. Here we go. The Southern Delta Aquariids. The Southern Delta Aquariids, we can see that their zenith hourly max is much, much higher, up to 25. They're peaking on the 30th, and we are through to the 30th just barely. We've just come through to the morning of the 30th, and we can see that their current zenith hourly rate there is 23, so pretty close to their peak. It's going down as we move backwards. We'll move through the day and see, it does look like they're peaking while they are under the horizon for us, back down to 23 by the time they come back up again. So it looks like we will see these either side of the peak, and the current zenith hourly rate, that is how many meteors they would be making at this time if they were at the zenith. Because they're so low in the sky, we'll only see about 3, partly due to the light of the moon, partly due to the light pollution. So just to see how much of a difference it would make, we'll move out to the countryside, and our local hourly rate goes up to 9. So not too bad. So this is on the 30th. They're at 9. The July Gamma Draconids are still at about 3. The Alpha Capricornids 4, pretty close to their peak as well. So these, of course, will all add together along with the amount of meteors coming from the Antihelion to give us something like 30 meteors an hour, hopefully. From our location here in Ireland at least. Now that we're in a dark sky and through to the end of the month, we can see that Uranus and the Pleiades have moved ahead of Mars. Moving back through the month, we can see them getting closer together. So we'll move just a little bit closer to sunrise. Mars and Uranus are both moving around the sun in the same direction. But Uranus is so much further from us and orbiting the sun so much more slowly. Our motion around the sun really changes Uranus's position. We're coming around the sun and getting closer to Uranus, which will make Uranus closer to the middle of our sky at midnight. Mars and the Earth, we're both still moving in the same direction, but Mars is moving so much quicker than Uranus that its motion through space is influencing the position in which we see it in the sky and how quickly we see it moving. As we look at these planets in the morning coming up to sunrise, now that we're through to the 19th and in a dark sky, there's the Pleiades, there's Taurus, the Hyades of Taurus. We're really getting back to that winter sky. As we move forward here into August, there's a little bit of Orion, but of course we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. There are a few other events occurring. In fact, if we move through here, there's the moon very, very close to the Pleiades. So we'll lock onto the moon here. We'll move through a little bit of time and we can see the moon and the Pleiades quite close together just as the sun is rising for us here in Ireland. So this means the occultation of the Pleiades by the moon, that's going to be visible from a different location on Earth, and it's not the only thing. even the conjunction between Venus and Regulus, which is technically visible from here in Ireland, it's going to be much easier to see from closer to the equator. So these are a couple of things that we're going to take a look at in the next video. What I've said here is broadly true for northern latitudes, but there's a few specific events that will only be visible from other locations, and thankfully a commenter has let me know where those locations are. So I hope you'll join me next time to take a look at those other events in July, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you get to see how the sky is changing over the coming weeks. If you did enjoy this video, then please do like it. If you like this kind of content, then please subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you'd like to read this information written down, you can do so on my website, queeveenscontent.ie. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here next time.